Welcome to the Lippert Technical Training Institute. My name's Chet Dellenbeck. Today we're going to be talking about spring axles. This unit particularly has 2 axles. We also have single and triple axles, depending on the size of your unit. Now, once you first remove the tire, you're going to have the hub assembly. This is what houses the brakes. As soon as you purchase your unit, the very first thing you need to do is follow our burnishment procedure. That's going to allow you to go ahead and have full braking capacity on your Lippert brakes. So here's a good video on that, and we'll be right back after this.
Warning: perform all burnishing of brakes at posted speeds. Check hitch connection, electrical connections, sway bars, and connect breakaway cable. When checking for heat, do not touch the brake drum directly, but hover a hand around the area. Electric drum brakes require a break-in period to achieve full performance. The break-in period not only seats the shoe lining material, but also seats in the brake electromagnets. This break-in period applies for new axles and anytime new brake shoes and/or magnets are installed as part of regular maintenance. Lippert Components recommends using one of 2 methods. A standard burnishing procedure and a more aggressive time-saving procedure are demonstrated in this video. Please choose the method that suits your personal comfort level to effectively complete the process. For both methods, when complete, the shoe lining material will be fully cured from the heat and should develop close to 100% contact with the brake drum surface. Standard burnishing procedure. Please note, this method will need 20 to 50 brake applications. Brakes can be seated in by applying approximately 8 to 10 volts to the trailer brakes at any initial speed of 40 miles per hour and allowing the truck-trailer combination to slow down to 20 or 25 miles per hour. Turn the gain on the trailer brake control to the maximum level. Proceed at driving speeds up to 40 miles per hour. Move the slide mechanism on the brake controller to apply 8 to 10 volts to the trailer brakes, allowing the tow vehicle to slow down to 20 or 25 miles per hour. Please note, do not use tow vehicle brakes or exhaust brakes during this period. The trailer brakes will seat in faster by using only the trailer brake. Release the slide mechanism on the brake controller. Continue down the road applying the brake controller at 1-mile intervals. Please note, you should feel a noticeable difference in the brake performance during this period, sometimes in as few as 10 applications. After 20 to 50 applications, use your best judgment on brake performance. Pull over at the next exit or any safe location to check the status of the procedure. The brake or axle area may be showing smoke, which is a normal result from the burnishing procedure. The area around the brake drum should also be hot. If available, use a temperature gun to check that temperatures are between 350 and 400 degrees, or verify that the area is hot with a hand check. Hover your hand around the brake area, but do not touch the brake drum. If there is no smoke or the heat has not achieved the proper temperature or the area can be touched with a hand, perform the procedure again. If the brake drum is cold to the touch, the brakes may not be adjusted properly or there may be a wiring concern. More aggressive burnishing method for the skilled technician. Turn the gain on the trailer brake control to the maximum level. Drive at highway speeds of 60 to 70 miles per hour, not exceeding posted speed limits. Move the slide mechanism on the brake controller to apply the trailer brakes while maintaining the posted highway speed without locking up the trailer brakes. Continue with trailer brakes applied and maintaining the posted speed limit for 1/2 mile. Release the slide mechanism on the brake controller. Pull over at the next exit or any safe location to check the status of the procedure. The brake or axle area may be showing smoke, which is a normal result from the burnishing procedure. The area around the brake drum should also be hot. If available, use a temperature gun to check that temperatures are between 350 and 400 degrees, or verify that the area is hot with a hand check. Hover your hand around the brake area, but do not touch the brake drum. If there is no smoke or the heat has not achieved the proper temperature or the area can be touched with a hand, perform the procedure again as directed above. If the brake drum is cold to the touch, the brakes may not be adjusted properly or there may be a wiring concern.
Now that we've covered burnishment, let's talk about the proper maintenance schedule for the Lippert spring axles. 12 months, 36,000 miles is the recommended maintenance schedule for this. So in addition to that, a couple things that you can do while you're driving and camping is keep an eye on your tires. What you're looking for is unusual tire wear. And make sure they're fully inflated, but also we're going to walk over to the mock-up here, and I'm going to show you what I mean as far as unusual tire wear. All right, so now that we're at our mock-up, we're going to talk about the different types of tire wear. The one you should see is a normal tire wear. Basically on this one, the entire surface is being worn evenly. If you get into a scenario where you have center tire wear, this is a sign that your tires are overinflated. Basically, you're like inflating a balloon, you're not using the full surface of this. You're just using those center treads, and that's going to wear. If that's the case, reduce the air pressure in your tires, and you may have to look at getting new tires at that point. Edge wear is a sign of underinflation. Basically what happens on this is your tires are underinflated and the two outside treads are going to wear faster than the center because it's going to be cupping up. Flat spots occur in this area or anywhere on the tire when you do a panic stop, an emergency stop scenario, things along that line. Maybe your breakaway switch was pulled and you drag the tire a little bit. That can cause flat spots as well. Cupping itself, cupping is where sections of your tires show excessive wear. That's a sign that that tire is out of balance and it's bouncing. And every time it comes back down and makes contact with the ground, it's going to take more of the tread off the tire itself. Now, inside and outside tire wear, inside tire wear is where the tire is actually rubbing on the inside of the tire toward your frame. This is a sign that you may have had a loss of camber or the unit may be overloaded. It is recommended to get it to a service center to have that inspected. Outside tire wear, same thing. You want to get it in, get it inspected. But this could be caused by an improper toe on your tire itself. And that's something the service center will be able to help you with if you see these symptoms. All right, so now let's take a minute and look at the wheel and the suspension components of your RV. So what you want to look for is if you see any type of excess grease building up on the rim itself, or if you have any powder that builds up on your rim, a black dusty powder, that's a sign that you could either have an internal failure of your grease seal, or you could have brake dust, maybe your brakes are over-calibrated, over-adjusted, things along that line. You want to keep an eye out for that. Also, the other thing is when you get in here and you start looking at your suspension components, this is what your shackle should look like. This one's loose. So if I take this off, this is where the shackle actually rides, the shoulder bolt. So what you want on this is you want a perfectly round circle. If the circle is oblong or you see signs of it shifting inside of here, maybe the shoulder bolt's loose or it's not seated properly, that's a sign that you need to get it looked at. That is a concern that you have to address. Also on these, when you're looking at them, you have these grease certs. So these grease certs are designed to help lubricate your wet bolts. You may or may not have grease certs on there. You may have standard nylon bushings in your suspension itself. But if you do have the grease certs, you can lubricate those. So what you'll do is simply put your grease gun on here, give it a couple pumps, 2 or 3 pumps, and then move to the next one. All right, this needs to be done annually, every 12 months or 36,000 miles. Another thing to take into consideration is if these nuts are not fully on here, if they're loose, they can be retightened and retorqued. That will get you into a service center so that you can have that addressed. But we do have the torque specifications available for you on Lippert.com. So let's talk about some of the things you may experience if you have concerns with your brakes. If you're driving along and you notice your brakes are pulling to one side or you don't have proper braking capacity, once again, get it into a service center. If you don't feel confident enough to drive it there, call a mobile tech. They'll be happy to come out and take a look at your brakes at that point. Okay, so now we're going to talk about how to properly change a tire. First thing on this is if you don't feel comfortable doing it, don't do it. Have somebody else come along and change your tire for you. But you can change the tire yourself. What you want to do is you want to lift the unit by the frame itself. Do not lift on the axle, don't lift on the suspension components because you can damage them. But slide your jack up underneath here, lift on the frame itself. Once the tire is off the ground, then you will want to go in, support the weight of the unit with jack stands. At that point, you can go ahead, take the tire off, and then we're going to move over here to the mock-up, and we're going to talk about how to properly reinstall your tire. Now, when you reinstall your tire, it's a two-stage process. The first thing you want to do once the tire's on is go ahead, put the lug nuts on. Now, just like on your automotive car, what you want to do is you want to go ahead, you want to do it in a star pattern. So the first round, I'm going to go 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 7, 4, and 11. You want to torque this down to the specifications for the first round of torque specs that are in your owner's manual. Now, when you come in to fully torque these, once again, you want to use a torque wrench, and you want to go from 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 1 o'clock, 7 o'clock, 4 o'clock, and 11 o'clock. Once the tire is fully tightened down, then simply go in, remove the jack stands, and lower the unit back to the ground safely. An additional thing I want to talk about while I have you here is the greaser. The greaser is located right directly behind this little rubber cap on your dust cap. So this is designed so that if your unit has been sitting a while, maybe you bought a used unit, you haven't been driving it, this gives you the ability to put a couple squirts of grease in there that'll allow you to help have a little bit more lubrication when you're going down the road. The process for this is fairly simple. All we're going to do is we're going to lift the unit up just like we were changing a tire. If you have jack stands, you do want to put those underneath the unit for additional support. But once you have the unit up off the ground, the tire's off, put your grease gun on here, put 2 or 3 pumps in, spin your tire. That helps lubricate and spread that grease around the spindle itself so it gets proper lubrication. Once you've done that, you simply reverse the process. You unhook the grease gun, lower the unit back down once both tires are done, reinstall your grease cap, and you're good to go. All right, so now that you understand the basis of maintenance and visual inspections, hopefully you feel much more confident and safe in using your RV. If you have any other questions or concerns, please feel free to contact Lippert either online or over the phone. We'll be more than happy to answer any questions that you may have. So thank you very much for joining us here at the Lippert Technical Institute. Get out there and enjoy your RV.